Welcome back to the League of Legends Championship Series Spring Split. I'm joined here by Carl Dentist Krei, German coach of the Copenhagen Wolves. This is the first time that we're chatting to you on the side stage, so I'd like to ask you a question I pose to all of our coaches. What is unique about your coaching style when it comes to your team and your organization?
Well, I don't really know if it's unique, but I see myself as like an all-round weapon. So I try to help the players with whatever they need. Obviously, my main focus is on getting them to play the game better, and I'm working with my analysts very closely on that. And I think we made some good progresses this year.
Yeah, so that's actually an interesting note. Copenhagen Wolves are 2-3 on the split, but the two games you guys have won, you could argue, is because of your opponent's mistakes. How would you respond to critics saying that the Copenhagen Wolves are not performing particularly well in the spring split?
Well, ending the games in 16 minutes is kind of boring, so we always go with the 50-minute games to make it more exciting for the games. That doesn't work so well, because it kind of like it stretches out to the boring area, but we get you excited in the future. I'm pretty sure about that.
That's a fantastic attitude. I've got another question that is also a little bit harsh. We've had some analysts on the desk talking about how the LCS is getting better and better with each split. You guys introduced Freeze into the lineup coming into 2015. But there's been a few people saying that other players on the roster are not improving with the rest of the league. Do you think that's a fair assessment of your team?
Well, of course I disagree. Like, that's not a fair assessment because I see them trying their hardest each and every single day. Like, we train for at least 8 hours a day of like pure team practice, and alongside that comes a lot of solo queue play and a lot of like getting better mechanically as individuals. And they're really trying their hardest, so I wouldn't agree with that statement.
Fair enough, fair enough. Now, as we were getting ready for the interview, I noticed both the Unicorns of Love and the Copenhagen Wolves standing backstage, hanging out, chatting away. You guys seem very friendly despite the fact you're enemies in this game. What's the mindset like facing off against your opponents?
Well, I don't know what you saw, but actually we don't like them. Like, have you ever seen a unicorn and a wolf in natural habit not fighting each other? I didn't.
Thank you very much for the interview, Dentist. You're welcome to join your team for Picks and Bans. Thank you again. I don't know how to respond to that. A unicorn and a wolf. Now, as we jump into the matchup, Unicorns of Love joined the LCS amid all of the excitement and expectation of those crazy picks. But Soren from the Copenhagen Wolves feels that the Unicorns are going to play the standard meta.
I think they're still in the honeymoon phase, honestly. Like, they're all great friends and they haven't really bumped into a big issue yet. We scrim them a lot and we know what they're capable of. So we will see, like maybe they got some good picks coming up. I think they're just as good playing standard. Like, obviously the off-meta picks were catching people off guard. But I think they can definitely handle the best teams just with standard picks.
Well, only time will tell which Unicorns of Love we're going to get to see today. But let's take a look at that starting lineup. Of course, with the Unicorns of Love, it is the top lane, Visit Chachi, who has been some of those interesting picks. In the jungle, it's Kikis, the mid laner, Power of Evil, Vardag's AD carry, support Hylissang, and their coach, Sheepy.
Yeah, and yesterday, Unicorns of Love surprised a lot of people, we can say, beating Fnatic, the undefeated Fnatic back then. And it was like Unicorns of Love as a team kind of found a pause button in the game itself, because they were actually being very active early on, but they were falling behind, and then they just waited a little bit and got to these late game team fights where they actually outplayed Fnatic, punished every single mistake, and managed to win the game. And honestly, for Unicorns, as a team, they seem to get better and better every week they play. And they're still a fairly new team in the LCS. I mean, they only played 3 weeks now.
Yeah, they've been able to cement themselves pretty well, and some quite good performance from them. So we'll go ahead and, of course, take a look on the other side of the stage. It's the Copenhagen Wolves. In the top lane, that's Youngbuck, Airwax in the jungle, Soren the mid laner, Freeze the AD carry, who had a stand-up performance yesterday, limited the support, and, of course, their coach, Dentist.
Yeah, I mean, you said we have to talk about Freeze. It's all about Freeze right now for the Copenhagen Wolves. Yesterday, he looked fantastic. He got Kalista, perfect setup for him. There was no hard engage coming in, hard CC at all in that game to kind of lock him down from Gambit. He looked great. Soren as well is a guy who's actually been stepping up in this mid lane here. He's starting to pull his weight. We didn't really see too much from him last split where he was new to the LCS. But now, him and Freeze together are actually looking fairly deadly, as long as the rest of the team doesn't fall too far behind early on.
Exactly. And, they hear the confidence from their coach, Dentist, talking about how they work really, really hard, how it maybe doesn't always appear that to the casual fan, but, they are starting to pick themselves back up. And the Unicorns, of course, still much hyped. They had that crazy playstyle coming into the LCS. They've definitely evened it out, played a lot more standard, but now they've definitely settled in to a much more of, I would say, consistent groove. And here we go into Picks and Bans right now. The Unicorns of Love facing off against the Copenhagen Wolves. We'll see what they do here.
Yeah, and as Freeze is the only AD carry who actually played Kalista here in the LCS, it's going to get banned away. Don't want to
Immediately.
deal with anything you're not used to playing.
Also the Nidalee ban against Kikis, who did play that one yesterday. Mixed success.
Yeah, so rest is fairly standard. Zed against Zoran. He showed his power on that champion in the week 2 as well. Obviously, Azir has to be banned in nearly every single game. That guy is just too strong. Kassadin, not been banned too often here in Europe, but instead being like first picked or at least early picked by the teams. And always seemed to do well. I mean, he's still such a good pick. He has very good matchups in the mid lane. It's very hard to shut him
As long as
down.
he lasts to level 6, yeah.
As long as he gets the level 6 point, he can even start going for the kills, and that's why Unicorn's also banning it away, because Copenhagen Wolves have last pick, and when you ban Kassadin, it would actually normally open up a LeBlanc pick, and that's why Copenhagen Wolves banned it away, because Kassadin came in from Unicorns.
Of course, Ari gets picked up right away, so we actually have been seeing a lot more, not just the Kassadin, but mid lane blind picks, first picks, as of the drop of this patch.
Yeah, simply because Ari is considered by many to be such a strong pick with the few changes she got here. Obviously, no DFG hurt her a little bit, but then she got buffed in other ways, especially the movement speed and all.
This does leave Narvin open, though.
Still, we have seen enough counterplay to Gnar.
It's true.
Actually, Copenhagen was decided not to go for Jarvan here.
Yeah, they go for the Cassiopeia on this rotation. That's interesting.
I feel like that was a mistake. You didn't have to pick the Cassio. Yes, she could go top lane for Visichachi, and that is a very bad lane for Gnar itself in terms of like the one-on-one, but you can camp her with a Jarvan really, really easily early on. And because Nidalee is already banned away, we go back to the old tier, where we have Rek'Sai Jarvan as like the 2 strongest picks. And obviously with the Gnar already, you could have that combination together, which is so strong. We've seen it so many times. Decided actually not to go for it. Junglers are still available if they want the Jarvan now.
Yeah, they fill out the bot lane instead, so this is a curious pick and ban phase for sure. So Vardag's on the Corki, Hylissang on the Leona. Let's see what they go with it. So the Jarvan's still available. They get a second chance at that one. Should be a no-brainer for the Unicorns. I would think Rek'Sai would make a lot of sense in this situation for them after this rotation, but maybe the Wolves decide they want it.
Rek'Sai obviously still open, which is why Unicorns decided not to pick a jungler, seeing as they're just going to get one of them anyway between her and Jarvan. But honestly, Leona has been the #1 support pick this week, and they value that again over taking away this combo of Jarvan and Gnar together, which I feel like it's really risky by Unicorns. But we're going to have to see how they're going to play against it in the game. I mean, already now...
Freeze locks it in.
Yeah, just because you have the Jarvan and Gnar together, you have such a good engage, such a good front line who can even peel for your AD carry. Cassiopeia, of course, with her ulti as well, sitting together with Freeze. Suddenly now, he's going to feel very safe in these team fights as long as he dodges the ulti from Hylissang.
Yeah, this is actually a really risky lane phase for the Wolves, though. They picked 2 very, I would say, all-or-nothing type of carries in Cassiopeia Draven. They're very, very immobile to begin with. They're very dangerous. No direct escapes, but they have so much hard carry potential.
Yeah, and Draven is going to do just fine in the laning phase.
Freeze loves this champion. It's not just Kalista.
Alright, so no Rek'Sai coming in from Unicorns. Decided to go with the Lee Sin. And I feel like this is just purely for the early camp they want to do towards their Draven pick here, Freeze. So you have Leona going in, Safeguard coming obviously from Lee Sin with the early power he can bring, and you try and shut down Freeze early on because he's been the main carry for the Copenhagen Wolves. He's a fantastic Draven player, and if he gets to just sit back and farm, then the Wolves will find an opening to get him a kill, proc that passive here, and suddenly he just snowballs completely out of control. Because for Unicorns, I mean, unless Hylissang can lock down Draven in the team fights, and it needs to happen before QSS as well in the late game. Otherwise, I mean, that's how Unicorns of Love can kill him. Late game when there's a QSS, I don't think they have enough actually to lock him down. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Now, what do the Wolves finish up with this one? The Braum is being considered. They've got a few seconds to take this one down, but they've already got a fairly good front line between the Gnar and the Jarvan. Maybe they just want a little bit more, and it looks like that is going to be the choice for Unlimited.
We see the same thing for Copenhagen Wolves. A lot of focus on the late game. You have Cassio in the mid lane. Obviously, you have the Draven, both skill really well late game. You have Jarvan and Gnar together as well. Fantastic front line. But you got to get past again that early game. You have actually strong laners here. In every single lane is a fairly strong lane from the Copenhagen Wolves. Cassiopeia does fine against an Ahri one-on-one. But your mid game point is where you can get punished by the Unicorns with the, obviously Aurelia coming with the Corki, his mid-game power spike. Survive that mid-game point, get to late game, and you look really, really strong. Get the QSS onto Freeze, and suddenly he won't get locked down by a Leona, and he can just go crazy.
Yeah, with this one set up. So the Unicorns should have some early rotational potential if they do want to try to get picks out here. It's still dangerous, the Cassiopeia, the Draven. Should be the focus there as Gnar can stay relatively safe. Do you think in this kind of situation, the Unicorns would want to go for a lane swap and maybe try to put the Gnar behind? There's just so many weapons, I feel like even that's not necessarily going to be a good position for them.
Typically, you don't want to lane swap in Aurelia. You want to have that one-on-one lane because you want to rush to your Trinity Force, your mid-game spike. So in that case, no. I don't think they will unless they feel like Draven here and Braum together is going to be too tough of a lane matchup. It's not a matchup we see very often. So I'm going to have to see actually if they want to swap their Aurelia away. I wouldn't expect it. You need to get that mid-game spike.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. But with the lineups locked in, tell us who you think came out ahead in that pick and ban phase by tweeting us at LOL Esports using the hashtag UOLWin or CWWin. We'll check on those results, but the crowd is pumped. The Unicorns versus the Wolves. Who's going to take this one? We'll find out as we load up onto the Rift.
Yeah, let's see. Unicorns obviously a lot of confidence after beating Fnatic yesterday, but also the Wolves picking up a win. So they're now 2-3 in the league itself. It's always been the same recipe for Wolves. Go full late game, take these teamfights, take champions who can scale up.
And outlast.
And outlast, of course, the enemy team. So the shot calling late game, it was better than Gambit's yesterday, but it's still not where it needs to be.
Agreed. We'll see if they can pick this one up a little bit. Again, Dentist expressed quite a lot of confidence that his team was improving and that would show itself very apparently. The Wolves, again, they got another win yesterday. I feel like the Unicorns, though, are also on an uptick. It's going to be a tough call for both.
So this ward placed by Power of Evil in the top lane here is simply to try and spot if Copenhagen Wolves have either Braum or Draven up in the top lane, moving in before the minions arrive to group them up as we normally see in a lane swap. So it gives them a little bit of information to see if anyone is hiding there. And also, if the Copenhagen Wolves are trying to cheese a little bit by standing in that bush, get their edge earlier. We see Freeze going to the top lane. He will be spotted by that ward if he continues to run into the lane, and then Unicorns of Love will know there's going to be a lane swap happening, which obviously is not the ideal situation for Vizicsacsi on this Aurelia here, because it's going to be all about the mid game for Unicorns. They cannot afford to go full late game, and obviously the laning phase is not a problem for Copenhagen Wolves. They have very strong laners all around here with their composition.
I feel like there's a lot put on Kikis here to make an impact early and get not just his lanes, or at least a few of his lanes ahead. Oh, that ward's about to expire, so actually staying outside the vision range, they're not going to see this.
Good scouting. Dentist did say, talk about how they know each other really well, these two teams, so Freeze and
Freeze
Limited,
is Freeze.
expecting that ward to be placed. And that's why he actually stayed at his own tower, waiting for it to disappear, had the timer in his head, and then he moves in, gets the Freeze going for himself and Unlimited in this top lane.
So Copenhagen Wolves playing at the early game quite well, opening it up. And now this is going to force Vizicsacsi to roam a little bit longer than he might have liked with Kikis. Power of Evil in the mid lane. Not quite level 2 yet as Soren is attempting to zone him out.
Oh, missed the poison.
Yeah, not quite there, but he did trade a bit of damage.
Had he hit that poison, he could actually really have won out on that trade. He was level 2 to only level 1 of Power of Evil, but just missed it, and obviously Twin Fang then went on a fairly long cooldown and couldn't actually keep hitting. But we're also going to see Unicorns focus a lot on split pushing in this game here. Aurelia is picked into Gnar because one-on-one she can beat him, especially once you get Trinity Force completed. But you don't want to get in a team fight because he's going to be stronger than you in terms of team fighting, the overall CC he provides in Mega Gnar. So you want to keep him forced to sit in a side lane. One-on-one you will win out as the Aurelia. Ahri as well can go to a side lane and actually beat out the Cassiopeia in the one-on-one as well. So we're going to see 1-3-1 set up later on by the Unicorns, and then a lot of focus on trying to create these picks in the mid-game.
Should be pretty easy going until then. However, you never know with Power of Evil in this mid lane. There's always some potential for explosions. Soren playing this out very safely, very smart, even if he has missed a few of the skill shots. All he has to do is sit back, get that aspect of the Serpent farmed up.
Stack it up, go back fairly early. About 2 minutes time to get your tier, get it stacking. Normally you would actually have it fully stacked in around 20 minutes because you spam so much in this mid lane here. And obviously Unicorns of Love here, not making the same mistake we saw earlier today. actually sending up Kikis and Hylissang following as well to help Vizicsacsi, predicting this 4v0 play by the Copenhagen Wolves. That's leaving Vardax to just hit the tower down here. So I like how he's basically getting ready to trade turrets in between the two. And obviously, Unicorns of Love now set up some control here.
Youngbug.
Oh, Youngbug.
He is caught out.
Oh.
And will he be first blooded? Not quite.
Oh,
that
was
heal
close.
save. I think he owes Freeze a few things.
Yeah, Youngbug has given up first blood in 4 out of 5 games. He's actually the player giving up the most first bloods. So he's a complete reverse Yankers, who's obviously getting all the first bloods for himself. But Unicorns managed to save the turret, get some farm on Vizicsacsi, and also get a lot of damage on the bot lane too. So that was a very nice response to the lane swap here and the 4-man tower dive the Copenhagen Wolves were trying to create.
Yeah, Wolves always roam as a pack, but this time it only took a few Unicorns to chase him off that tower. Down in the bottom side, Airwax is looking with the help. Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute because Freeze has to burn his flash. Ooh, they get the Zenith Blade out, but Hylissang checks a little too far forward. And Freeze chases him back. Meanwhile, down to the bottom side, Vardax.
They're just diving everywhere.
Yeah, the Wolves are really trying to make this happen early. And
well, everyone.
they have the late game. Why are they doing this to Fischio?
Well, that's not the problem for them at all. They were trying to actually force out a teleport, I believe, in the bot lane. And Vardax had to flash and heal. Also teleport from Vizicsacsi used. So that was actually
They get
well
something
played
for
by
it, you're
the
right.
Wolves. But the problem is right now, because Unicorns of Love have been able to respond to the first dive from the Wolves, then they actually keep having a man or an advantage in these lanes just by having 2 people there or 3 people. And now
Youngbug dodges.
getting a bit more damage on the top turret as well. While the Copenhagen Wolves try to play in the bottom lane, now Recall going back to the top lane. So that is running around a little bit here, trying to force some plays, while Unicorns are just hitting the turrets.
Yeah, the Unicorns have a slight gold lead built up over this. Doesn't really mean too much, but yeah, the very early tier built by Soren, so he's going to be able to just continue to stack that one up. Power of Evil doesn't really have too much of a response to this. He's going to clear the minions away fine and safe. But the Wolves are just continuing to rove around wherever they can. Standing on a pink right now, Limited and Airwax will be able to take that one out. Vizicsacsi, though, aware of their presence.
Both these top laners have been denied quite a lot of farm because there's been so much action. But Vizicsacsi is level 4. Picked up a bit more than Youngbug, but both of them are in a fairly decent position. It's all about getting the XP in the lane swap over the gold. And obviously, Unicorns of Love again trying to make some plays. They saw Unlimited and Airwax on the top side, killing that pink ward.
Oh, busy.
And they want to see obviously the rest of them so they can get a dragon for it, but Vizicsacsi, he's going to die.
Yeah, he's in a little bit of trouble here, just trying to buy a moment or two,
Freeze.
and they're going to try to give this one
There
to
it
Freeze. He cashes in on some first blood.
264 gold.
We'll see if the Unicorns of Love can pick this dragon up in response. They should be able to do it. All the same, sacrificial Vizicsacsi, and there should be a tower here for the Wolves
Yeah,
as well.
that was a mistake by Vizicsacsi. As soon as he saw that pink ward being cleared and knowing his own jungler was on the bot side of the map so he couldn't come and help him, he just had to leave that turret. Don't stay around, don't risk being killed here.
And to give the gold to Freeze,
Obviously,
too.
yeah.
That's pretty big early on in the game.
So first mistake by Vizicsacsi.
Take a turret, too.
An expensive one. Turret, kill, obviously, for Draven. And honestly, for Copenhagen Wolves, they don't care about losing dragons early. They just want to really get some gold on their 2 carries here, Soren and Freeze, in their early game. Kind of try and skip the mid game if they can. So if you get the item advantage in the mid game when you have a weaker comp on paper and you're stronger late game, then you don't care about these dragons at all. Because once you get to the 4th or 5th dragon, then you will be strong enough on the side of Copenhagen Wolves to fight it anyway, and you will be ahead in items because you've taken down these turrets instead of going for the dragons.
Yeah, the Unicorns have missed out a little bit just because of the Wolves being able to make that play. It's going to be a little harder. Vizicsacsi does have kind of an open farm lane right now, which is fine, but he's already had to get the double Dorans, too. So he's going to be set back on that build, on that Trinity Force. And meanwhile, Freeze is already really close to getting a Bloodthirster at 8.5 minutes in. This is going to get a little bit hairy for the Unicorns.
It'll be a scary, scary Draven. What we actually normally see from Freeze is he gets early lifesteal just to keep sitting in lane, so he has to sustain to keep farming the laning phase, doesn't force to go back if he takes a bad trade. And then he actually goes Infinity Edge first item. So despite him having both components for the BT, he does want the Infinity Edge because it's a lot better as the first item. Gives you a lot more damage from the crit, obviously, than a Bloodthirster, which comes in later for him. So now he just wants to sustain so he can stay in the laning and just keep farming away. Don't even care about those rockets.
Ooh, he's dodging them anyways. Really, and Freeze has the ability to stay pretty safe on this one just because not only has he have a very tanky support line there, but he's also just positioning quite well to avoid the all-in potential from Hylissang. Airwax now moving down towards the bottom side. Vardegs and Hylissang are going to back away from that one. Pings were flying as Vizicsacsi tries to answer a turret up in the top.
Yeah, this lane is not going well for Youngbuck at all. He fell a little bit behind in farm, has kept up in terms of XP, but Aurelia is a very, very good matchup in Tonar. Because of the true damage you have, so you don't care about him being tanky at all, so you can take these fairly safe trades. Stun him, get the true damage back away. And you have some sustain as well, so even though he can poke you from range, he doesn't really do too much against you on the Aurelia here. So it's going to be a matchup that we're going to keep seeing in favor of Vizicsacsi all game long, and that's why the Wolves later on is going to look for team fights and not this one-on-one split push that Unicorns want to pull off.
Yeah, the Wolves definitely want to stick it out together. Kikis now in the bottom side. So we'll give some breathing room for the Unicorns of Love. Bot lane, the jungle pressure, moving Freeze and Unlimited over to take the Gromp instead.
And notice what Soren has done here in the mid lane. Very early haunting, guys. So getting some more early power. The magic penetration obviously is very strong in the early game. The flat magic penetration. This again survived the mid game for the Wolves, and they know they have these two really well scaling AD carries. So he's simply building towards the mid game for him, which actually is fairly smart. Doesn't want to risk going for the slow build where you have your tier, then you get like a Rylai's, then you get an Archangel. It takes a lot of time to build up here. No, get some damage early, and
ooh, Solar Flare. Oh, Soren! He's going to flash and gaze, but the Unicorns had their backs turned. Just going to get slowed down there. So will be a summoner and an ultimate traded for just the one of Hylissang. I think the Unicorns will be happy with that one.
Getting a flash is always good against the mobile target, but they have to follow up on it then and actually go and punish him for having no summoners next time. Otherwise, Soren's just going to sit back and farm anyway, and he doesn't really care about losing the flash if he doesn't get ganked again.
It's true. They have a time window to act on this one. Dragon's about a minute and a half away. Power of Evil not able to save that ward. Neither is Kikis. And Vizicsacsi has just not really had, neither of the top laners, you're right, have really had a whole lot of room to do much. They've been roaming a lot, or they've been pushed in. There have been a lot of threats against them in this early game. But I feel like Vizicsacsi's playing a little bit scared here. It's been very, very far back. Now he moves up to take this farm.
Yes, Youngbuck just pushed down the entire wave together with Airwax, so Vizicsacsi had to go back and just wait for it. But he doesn't mind, he just wants to get the farm anyway. Dragon wasn't alive, so not really any problem with him freezing the lane. I'm talking about Freeze. He's actually picked up the BT as the first item, so changing it a little bit in this game here.
Yeah.
On that flat AD, and again the shield obviously. Knowing that he's going to be jumped on in these mid-game team fights.
You know, back when the changes were made to Bloodthirster, when it no longer became the go-to AD carry item for every AD carry, a lot of pros were saying about the only argument that you could make for still first building it was on Draven in that particular situation, just because he scales so well off the flat AD.
Right, of course. And also because he wants to play so aggressive in the fights, and Kikis,
speaking of aggressive,
will jump away. But also, yeah, again, because he wants to play so aggressive in the fights, he knows that he will be a target. So getting that shield from the Bloodthirster might be exactly what he needs to stay alive. Will obviously sacrifice a little bit of damage, not getting that crit from the Infinity Edge. A little bit, actually quite a lot of damage. But going for safety first. Hopefully a man Soren in the mid lane with that Haunting, guys. So really, the Copenhagen Wolves know there's going to be fights soon, and they know they're in a small disadvantage, just want to go late.
So they do. Airwax starting this back. Vardegs, they're trying to maybe bait him away from the tower range, but he's already backing in all the way. Yeah, Kikis and Hylissang are on their way here, and the Unicorns will start up Dragon number 2, and there's no response here from the Wolves.
They don't care. Again, they don't mind giving up the first few dragons just to sit and farm.
They've done it before.
Done it before, yeah, many times.
Several times.
It is the Copenhagen Wolves tactic. They are the team with the longest average game time on 46 minutes, and the average game time in Europe right now is 39 minutes. So 7 extra minutes here from the Copenhagen Wolves in terms of their games. And not really a surprise, because every game costs close to like an hour.
It does tend to seem
close
that way.
to an hour.
Well, Soren will be pretty happy if it goes that long. Those stacks can get a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, he played it in week 1 and had 1100 AP. around 55 minutes into the game when he was sitting on 6 items. Dragon obviously with the 6%. Baron buff as well. And then you really start to do some damage.
Oh yeah. Not the only one building stacks this game. Freeze is looking to get a few more of his own. He's cashed in once. Try to put a little bit more damage down on Hylissang and Vardax.
Yeah, and Unicorns are waiting for Trinity Force to be completed on Vardax and Vizicsacsi before they want to end this laning phase and actually start roaming around the map, force a few fights. Because right now this laning phase is heavily in favor of the Wolves because they're sitting and stacking on 2 champions at a time. So once Trinity Force is completed on both Aurelia and Corki, then Unicorns have to start making some plays, establish vision control. You have the Ahri, create the picks through her and the Leona, of course, and try and snowball it a little bit, get some towers down as well. Right now it's not looking too good for them.
Freeze continues to push this one out. They've also got a little bit of backup here as Airwax waiting in the backside. Not going to be seen by that ward. Unlimited tried to clear it away. Didn't quite have enough there. Freeze still continues. Just bounce the axes, continue to go. Here we go, EQ combo. Airwax is going to have to wait before that spell. Back on rotation. We'll see if they can maybe bait this one out. Freeze is doing a good job of keeping it frozen.
Yeah, and there's some very good wards you can see behind the tower of Unicorns here to make sure Kikis is not down in the bottom lane.
Stand aside, the cut Hylissang, but wait a minute, they
Going
turned it around. There's the Solar Flare, Freeze very low, going to proc. Here comes Airwax, teleport coming in, can they get the finish off? Vizicsacsi picking up Freeze on the last hit. Airwax in some trouble as well, and Limited also low. Here comes Kikis, he's gonna go in for the assassination. Young Buck kick as he flashes, Power of Evil. The Unicorns come in and they stampede all over the Wolves. Only losing Hylissang for that, and the crowd, you can hear that.
Yeah.
They're happy.
And this was the Wolves here trying to bait a fight in the bottom lane. They had Airwax sitting ready, but Unicorns, as soon as the fight started, TP came in from Vizicsacsi way earlier than Youngbuk here. So notice it again. Freeze being locked down because he's the guy trying to start the fight. TP from Vizicsacsi. No sign of Youngbuk yet. It's coming now. Way too late. So now they can start cleaning up. You see the roam from mid lane, obviously, from Power of Evil as well. And just 4 kills for the Unicorns of Love.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And that's the mid game. You
That
wanted,
is the mid game.
I mean, that was just perfect for them.
In all of that, Soren did get some damage down on the turret, but it really that you need to have more coordination to try to fight like that. And the Unicorns just shredded through that attempt. It was really a little bit forced by Freeze, I'd say.
Oh, way too forced.
Yeah, he goes in, speeds himself up, grabs the stand aside, barely clips Hylissang with it. And after that, they still think it's a great idea to all in against a Leona.
The problem was, once he committed to the fight, he got Hylissang's ulti in his face, and then he got stunned after, so he couldn't actually get out. And then because the TP from Vizicsacsi came in so early, he could just clean up a few kills before Youngbuk joined and actually end up dying himself as well. So that was just better coordination and communication by Unicorns of Love compared to what Copenhagen Wolves did there. Try to fight, or trying to force a fight.
Yeah, Freeze now still pushing back on that one. He'll have some of his stacks reset in that case, but there is the threat of Unlimited hanging back. Vardax is going to have to be very careful on this one. But that kill definitely going to help out. He's got his Trinity Force now. Power of Evil now pushing in the middle, but he's chased off by Soren and Airwax.
Yeah, and Unicorns now really roaming with Hylissang, and Kick is getting a few deep wards. Want to go for a dive onto Youngbuk.
Yep.
No flash, no Mega Knock.
Yep, is he going to turn it on? Vizicsacsi, there we go. Hylissang catches on him, and Kikis kicks him. Vizicsacsi coming up with that. They get the tower as well. 1, 2, 3, and a classic dive to pick up Youngbuk.
Yeah, and the Unicorns need to keep doing this here. Go roam between the lanes, keep picking up some kills. You have your Trinity Force on the Corki. You're going to get it on Aurelia. You're going to be very, very strong now. Keep looking for those kills.
I think there's a few more Unicorns that are fanning up for this game. 73% saying they're going to win this one. They're certainly pushing in towers like they mean it now. The Wolves are trying to answer in the bottom, but they don't quite have that clearing power.
Are they going to let them keep pushing?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting race here. They're going to back off. Well, the Unicorns are still going, yeah.
Only Youngbuk here.
He's got to be careful.
They're going to get it. I mean,
yeah, they are.
Wolves just gave us 3 towers in the top lane here. They took the bottom lane one and kept pushing in, and then realized, oh, this is way too late. We can't get this tower in time. We have to start recon with Unicorns. Easy.
Have you ever tried to stop a Unicorn Stampede, Deficio? It's not easy.
Very true. It's a tough one. Do you have Unicorns in America? You don't really have them here in Europe.
There's a few.
Oh, okay.
Well, you've got 5 here.
Very true.
Power of Evil. Hylissang, they're all kind of just hanging out now as they do give up a tower in the middle. The Wolves grab something back, but you're right, just huge oversight on Copenhagen Wolves right here to just give all of that up. To leave Youngbuck to his own devices for so long. He got dove that one time. They then didn't respond. When he comes back up, he can't quite push it away because there's just so much quick damage power. And the Unicorns have started to move forward on this. They've grabbed 2,500 gold ahead. 12 seconds on this next Dragon. If they pick up the third, you mentioned the Wolves love to give these away and just wait it out till the late game anyways, but that extra mobility is really going to be a big boon to the Unicorns right now.
Yeah, and for that tactic to work as well, you defend your towers. You don't suddenly fall behind in terms of gold and dragons, because then it becomes nearly impossible for you when you have to fight for the fifth or obviously the fourth dragon. Might even be the case for the Wolves, because then you're behind in items and you're behind in dragons. That's the impossible situation. So them losing so many towers in the top lane and that fight in the bottom lane they started has really made it hard for them now to reach that late game point.
Still shots flying left and right, mostly missing, but here comes Vizicsacsi. Gonna push the Wolves back from this one. Still a tense moment for the Dragon attempt. Ward's going to get cleared away there. Freeze is actually starting this one. They're going to try to pull it out, but they do not have the Crab Shrine in there.
You have Mega now, though. They can go in.
Coming in. They are going to land the Solar Flare on. Here comes Airwax, the whirling death, and Freeze is going to cash in on Kick. Is Airwax, can he stick around? It's a double kill. Can he get even more? It looks like he nearly does. Freeze going forward. It's Vizicsacsi is going to pick up a kill onto Soren, but a triple kill for Freeze. And he could go for more here. Bardax and Vizicsacsi trying to chase the remaining Wolves back to their tower. Glacial Fissure, Vizzy is going to get the reset. Freeze, though, chasing him all the way back. It is a 3-for-3, and this tower in the mid should fall in just a moment.
Yeah, and the power of the Trinity forces here for Unicorns of Love. Of Corgi and Aurelia, cleaning house. But that was a good engage from Youngbuck. He was sitting with Meganar in the bush. Unicorns didn't have any vision on him, and they were next to a wall, so that was nearly the perfect engage for him. And that's why they could pick up a few kills. But still, Aurelia and Corgi.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at exactly how that one went down.
Yeah, so he gets Meganar here. There's no water in the bush where he's actually moving in. And notice how the Unicorns are staying next to the wall around the Dragon. Engage coming in from Youngbuck, smacking them into the wall. Actually just misses Vardax here. That was very important, though. Got him.
And they grouped up for the Whirling Death, too, even more.
They did. I mean, that was a great stop by the Wolves, but not over yet.
Wait a minute. Airwalk slides his way in to a Dragon pick. And now he should go down for it, but the Unicorns have turned their back on the rest of the Wolves. It ends up being a 1-for-1 trade, and in comes Kikis once again, see if they can maybe make something happen. Hylissang, though, isolated from the team. Soren sinks his fangs in and picks up another 2-for-1, and they grab a Drake, too.
Yeah, so from Unicorns getting 3 kills on a tower, suddenly the Wolves just come in, steal the Dragon, get a few kills as well. They're right back in the game now.
Well, Dennis kind of described it like a Discovery Channel special, and it's really been very bloody back and forth, just like one.
Oh, yeah.
So, here we go. Power of Evil waiting in. The brush gets the charm off on Youngbuck. Not enough damage to polish him off. And the Wolves have to back away here.
Yeah, we didn't even get to see the setup for that Dragon. And why the Unicorns decided to start it, despite the Wolves being nearby.
Here we go.
So replay again. It's just Unicorn starting. I mean, look, notice Power of Evil. He's down the bottom lane. So it's only 4 guys from the Unicorns. That's why, again,
kick.
No chance for them to actually win the fight. Soren and Freeze left untouched. Clean up a few more kills. Obviously, Hylissang as well.
It was a good Solar Flare, but the problem was there's nobody left to follow up on it, and Hylissang just feeds the kill over to Soren. Freeze will pick up that red buff at his own. So Wolves look to mass around the Baron pit. Unicorns of Love not far behind, though.
But this really is the Unicorns of Love playstyle. It's all or nothing. So whenever you win a fight, you're just going to start that Dragon. It doesn't even matter if your mid lane is sitting in the bot lane. No, if you feel like you can take the Dragon, you go for it. And sometimes you get punished. This time around they did. And that's also why they have lost a few games, especially against the top tier teams. Because they simply get punished when they go a bit too aggressive.
Well, if the Wolves could pick up a win here, this is going to be a really big boost for them. Just because off the hype of the Unicorns now, Youngbuck is charmed again, but they don't have quite the damage to do much more than poke at him. And Unicorns are just going to try to keep getting these charm catches, see if they can blow people up. Kikis now, still waiting around the side, will reveal himself. Don't want to go in on the Meganar, though.
No, and for Unicorns who love to get the picks they want, you need to have your wards placed around an objective, so there's a reason for the Wolves to actually move there or make sure they don't give it up. So if you take all the ping wards they have at the Dragon now, move them into, let's say, the red buff of the Copenhagen Wolves, take over the jungle. Suddenly, you take that buff here, you can move between top and mid lane very easily, and the Wolves have to try and fight back and clear those wards and regain the control of their own jungle. Otherwise, they're going to get picked off or in the end out-rotated. So the Unicorns need to take all the pink wards from the Dragon here, move them into the jungle of the Wolves if they want to look for these picks through the Ahri Charm. Otherwise, again, we're going to see Copenhagen Wolves sit back and wait, see what happens.
Whirling Death does a good job of clearing most of the wave. It's an unsafe push now, and the Unicorns will back away from it. They did get some damage on that tower.
Yeah.
However, still a dangerous proposition to keep on going. Meganar about to run out for Youngbuck as he clears away the last of the wave in the middle and throws a rock at Vizicsacsi.
I really see Vizicsacsi always looking to split push on Aurelia here. Push up the waves, and there's not a lot of like instant wave clear except for the ulti from Freeze. So that means Unicorns can always get a bit of damage on the turrets every time they catch a wave around the Copenhagen Wolves territory.
And speaking of Freeze, he really has started to get a little out of control in this one. Sitting on 3 items here, the last Whisper completed. He also had that Youmuu's Ghostblade available to him. So a lot of attack speed, a lot of damage. And it's kind of hard if you do get caught in that engage, and the perfect storm can happen and the Wolves can pick up a fight like they did at that Dragon Pit. Investing in some vision here, trying to make sure that the Unicorns of Love can't really sneak any more objectives.
Yeah, and the big turning point really is going to be the defensive item on Freeze. Once he can just be engaged on by Hylissang, there's no real way of shutting him down other than a perfect flank by the Unicorns. And that's the thing Copenhagen Wolves have managed to play well against. Like when there is a risk of being flanked, they're very good at moving as a group together late game, ward around them at all times so they can see everything and keep Soren and Freeze safe. And that's why they win these very, very late games. Because they simply play again as a team. You see it already. 5 men together in the mid lane.
Yeah, the
Meanwhile,
coordination.
as we talked about earlier, Unicorns spreading out, especially with their Aurelia pick. Build up these waves. Just go straight for the tower. There's no TP of Youngbuck, so he can't go and defend it. Vizicsacsi can just take a free tower here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, this forces a decision by the Wolves. Do they go back? Looks like they're sending Youngbuck, but yeah, he can't really defend it out just yet. Although Vizicsacsi is taking a little bit of time about this one, and you can see the rest of the Unicorns are trying to stop the backs, and they've done it successfully. So instead, they're just going to have to push back in the middle. So nice movement by Vizicsacsi and the Unicorns to grab this one in the bottom.
Yeah, using the TP advantage to get a tower. Now Youngbuck has TP ready and can actually sit and hold Vizicsacsi one-on-one on his own tower at least. Won't be able to kill him. Therefore, Unicorns now is going to be about the rest of the team. The 4 guys here in the mid lane. He's going to have to get the top wave pushing, so you have mid and top control. The minions doing the work in the top lane, and obviously the 4 players in the mid lane pushing it up. And then you just go very quickly from mid to top lane once the wave has been built up. Take down... Actually, no, there's no tower in the top lane, so they're going to have to go straight in for inhibitor, meaning they won't actually be able to do it. Instead, it's going to be around the Dragon and Baron then for Unicorn.
Yeah, but the difference here is Vizicsacsi. Well, they're both a little bit... Both the top laners are a little bit out of the position for it, but they both do have the teleport available. Copenhagen Wolves trying to push in the middle to force the attention of the Unicorns of Love right before this dragon spawns. It's about 5 seconds away, and now the attention turns that direction. So Copenhagen Wolves this time might be interested in a fight.
Yeah, and Unicorns just giving up the dragon area completely.
They're going to go for middle.
They go middle, yeah. They don't actually want to fight right now straight up against the Wolves, so they're going to push him for the middle instead. This might open up for a flank from the Wolves.
Yeah, they've taken a little bit of time about it. They don't quite have the minion wave to make it happen, so they take a few shots on the back and escape, or at least attempt to, into the Copenhagen Wolves jungle. Youngbuck now almost going to go Meganar in just a moment, see if they can grab a little bit more out of this one, but the engage potential is there. He's going to Gnar, Power of Evil back, who will dash away. Whirling Death, that's a lot of damage, and there we go. The Wolves have found a fight. Can they take it all the way? Soren picks up Power of Evil to start this one off. Here they go, separating the rest of the targets with Vizicsacsi, still untouched, a double kill.
Freeze still alive.
For Soren. Freeze is still hanging around. They can't, there we go, the shutdown for Vizicsacsi. Hylissang still up, a triple kill now for Soren. How many can he go? It looks like Youngbuck will pick up that one, and Hylissang goes down. That's an ace for the Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, and every time the Wolves can actually engage, then they force Unicorns to deal with the front line, leaving Soren and Freeze alone. Let's see it again here. Youngbuck with Meganar. He wants to flash in and pull Power of Evil back into the wall, but he just dashes away. He's on the side, escapes it, but this is still fine. It's a good engage. Now Soren can do whatever he wants in this fight because all the focus on the Gnar and on the Jarvan. He's going to clean up a few kills for himself. Obviously Vizicsacsi teleporting in behind, trying to do the best he can, but Freeze stays alive for way too long. Fight goes into the favor of Copenhagen Wolves. We still do see how Unicorn's comp is very strong with the Trinity Forces and everything. Is early to late game part, or mid to early late game part. But the Copenhagen Wolves, when they get the right engage and their carries are left alone, they're just going to destroy you.
Yeah, and I feel like the Unicorns dawdled a little bit trying to get out of that jungle. They lackadaisically go to maybe poke a little bit at the red buff on their way out. They took a little bit of time before they went that direction in general. And yeah, they got separated up. They got out 5. The Wolves in their own jungle are masters of their own domain. Now in the river, will it be the same? Hylissang is caught out and no flash available. Freeze getting those stacks, getting that money.
Getting that money, going towards the Banshee's Veil. Not a QSS for him.
Oh, they're going to start this Baron.
Straight up. Vardax is coming from
yeah.
red buff here, but it's going to be a 5 versus 4.
Still a smite fight potential, though, and without the engage from Hylissang, it's going to be
They
rough
wanna go
the
for
Unicorns.
fight, yeah.
Kikis, though, he's the one caught out. They've got a lot of damage onto him. Now, can they pick him off? Yes, Airwax can. And now they're just going to turn tail and turn on the Unicorns. Can they pick the fight here? Visit Chachi in the pit, jumps his way out of it. Whirling Death goes forward and back. They don't find the damage they were looking for exactly, but there's still 23 seconds on Kikis. Do the Wolves try again for this Baron? It looks like they're trying to bait it out. No, they're just going to go for it again.
That double pig ward outside here. They're still looking to fight. Kikis is dead, so no smite. A lot of damage from the Wolves.
Yeah,
Suddenly now,
there we go. Unlimited a little bit low, but they found Visit Chachi as he jumps back in. Unlimited staying alive. They get another pick. They get the heal out. They turn right back for Baron. The Wolves are just fighting this out.
It's getting risky now.
It's so risky to keep on this Baron. It's still, I would say early, but they've just taken so much damage that it just looks like they have to back away from that one.
Yeah, so they didn't get the Baron, but they got a lot of kills for it because Unicorns kept trying to stop them. One guy had to go down. Copenhagen Wolves went back to the Baron. Unicorns went back in, again died, so getting a few kills, yeah, and especially Freeze and Soren, I mean, it's perfect for the Wolves. The 2 carries are getting the majority of the kills. Really getting close already now to like the 5th item spike. Banshee's Veil will be up very soon for Freeze, and then he just needs an Infinity Edge to round it out.
And the few missteps that we've seen Freeze make too have been just because he got CC locked immediately upon engaging. That's really going to bail him out of those situations. He's got an amazing front line between Unlimited and Youngbuck, and even Airwax too. And they've just chased away a lot of the potential. There's also, even if that fails, Soren is getting a little bit ridiculous. 4-1-5 now on this Cassiopeia.
Yeah, and just also Copenhagen Wolves been able to get those 2 dragons, meaning they don't have to worry about Unicorns of Love giving too far ahead of forcing a potential 5th dragon. They've just done a good job actually. After they had a few mistakes, obviously the bottom lane gank, heavily backfired, giving the 3 towers in the top lane. After that, Copenhagen Wolves actually managed to just stay back, wait it out, pick up a few kills, get the right dragon fights as well, and Unicorns of Love haven't been able to really push the advantage to them.
What's important about this though is that they've been able to outlive and outlast in a much quicker amount of time than they usually do. This game's 32 minutes in, and we don't usually see the Wolves turning up the heat until a bit later, but they're now going to start it. Soren has to bail away. Harvey getting smited, but he moves back in onto Airwax. It's a little bit of a rough situation for the Wolves. They can't quite engage on this one, but there is the Mega Gnar around the side. Kikis is going to land the Q, goes on Airwax, and actually just dashes right back to the ward. It's the drive-by Lee Sin kick. It's not really going to net them much of anything, but the Wolves are licking their wounds as they move away from this one. Can they
Unicorns pushing the mid lane here. They keep stopping the Wolves from recalling and make sure they have to take the long way back into their own base through the base gate, trying to get a bit of damage on the mid lane here.
Yeah, they should be able to take this turret down. It's going quick. The question is, can they grab the inhibitor? No, they're going to walk away from it, but still 2 naked inhibs. The Unicorns are able to run down one more, but can they stay safe here? Unlimited moving around the side. He's just going to dodge and dive away, but he's going in now for Visit Chachi. Youngbuck zoning Hylissang and Vardags out of the way, and the Wolves have answered back here despite losing the tower.
Lost the tower. I think actually they were surprised by Kikis being behind them in the last fight here and took a lot of damage from the rockets of Vardax. Dragon is alive. Unicorns split up a little bit. Another dragon for the Copenhagen Wolves. They're setting up control now, making it very hard for Unicorns to get the flank.
Third one's important for both teams, not just as per usual, but in this particular situation, the extra mobility you're going to be gifted there will help Unicorns either evade the Wolves or the Wolves catch them a lot quicker, but they're going to have to fight for this one. Dragons all but forgotten. There is a lot of stack going on there. Knockups flying left and right. Unlimited going down. Power of Evil picking off Freeze, and the Wolves have just been stunned. Young Buck going down finally. Soren with the last of his health, trying to get Vardags off of his back, but I feel like it's a matter of time, and Vizicsacsi comes in for the double kill. They ace the Wolves for Power of Evil. That's going to be some inhibs for sure. We'll see what else they can do.
Might even be more here. Look at the wave in the top lane pushing in. Should be 2 inhibitors at least for the Unicorns. 15 seconds on Freeze and Airwax together.
10 on Unlimited, 5 now. Yeah, they should be able to pick this up. 2 inhibitors down. The Wolves just absolutely not prepared for that one. You can see them in the player cams shaking their heads at that. They lose out on 2 inhibs and a big swing for the Unicorns.
Yeah, so Copenhagen Wolves actually had a very good position in the river, but they shouldn't start the Dragon because now you allow Unicorns to flank from 2 sides onto you, engage onto Freeze. Banshee's Veil is not completed yet, no cleanse or anything for him, so he ends up taking a lot of damage and actually go down early on in the fight, and now Unicorns can just clean it up. Vardags coming, of course, from the top side. He's going to get a last kill on Soren. But the Wolves here, they had a good position in the river, and then you start that Dragon. That was way too risky, allowing Unicorns to get the right engage. Actually, Vizicsacsi still securing the last one.
Oh, yeah. As Soren tried to buy some time for that one. So, with the loss of those 2 inhibitors, they're going to be on wave clear patrol for just a little while. This might open up a Baron opportunity for the Unicorns, clearing out some vision of that one. Dragon was not taken in all of the craziness. Of course, there were some juicier targets available.
Yeah, the Wolves just had to move in. Place a few wards behind the Dragon Pit so they can see where Unicorns is coming from, and just stay around, like between the mid lane and the Dragon. Stay in that area here, force the Unicorns to make a move. Don't start up that Dragon yourself. Really backfight for them now. Baron started by Unicorns.
Yeah,
Soren is far away.
But there is a Mega
And
Gnar
Mega Gnar is
available.
gone now.
Yep, now it runs out as the moment. They're not peeling off it entirely just yet, trying to stall out, but the Baron still live, poking away at the health bars. The Unicorns of Love, who will choose to disengage this one for the moment, and that's about enough time for Soren to make moves up here.
Just need to keep coming with Sand. Oh, actually engage.
Airwax, they look for Hylissang. That's a lot of burst. Vizicsacsi coming up with a pick onto Airwax. No smite available as Freeze picks up Hylissang on the other side of it. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Charm onto Young Buck. Unlimited, a little bit low. Vizzy seeing if he can't do something here, but he does not want to fight against this grouped up Wolves composition. Vardags isolated. Freeze cashes in again. They've caught Kikis. Can they get the kill? Yes, they can. Unlimited going a little bit low, but the Unicorns, their time might be running a little bit out. They pick Unlimited, but all the same, it's a 4-for-2.
Stop the recalls. He needs to stop the recalls here. Look at the super
There are a
minion.
lot of minions.
Oh, just missed it. Couldn't get close enough. Copenhagen Wolves will only lose 1 tower now in their own base, but Unicorns here, because they had 2 inhibitors down, they started the Baron to try and force Copenhagen Wolves to come and fight them and not defend their own base. They just took a lot of damage from them, and then when they actually had a situation where they could just stall it, sit and wait, they got too close. Airwax got the engage. Copenhagen Wolves knew they had to fight so they could recall after and go back and defend.
Yeah, it really has been extremely explosive. Now Freeze, enough damage on this Draven to just say, you know what? To hell with it, I'm going to go ahead and try to take this Dragon, but he's actually not even seen. A couple of Unicorns pass him right by. There we go. But he picks that one up.
Nice little pickup for him. 3 Dragons. Let's see it again. So, Unicorns here again. They just want to buy time, but Airwax gets the opening here, engages in, and now Freeze and Soren in the back line, taking 0 damage so far. Youngbuck just tanking up everything, and obviously Airwax in the start. And again, Unicorns, they're just trying to buy time. Look at the super minions. If you look in the base of Copenhagen Wolves, but in the end, they get a few kills and actually get time to recall.
Oh yeah, Vardags stayed a little bit too long in all of that, of course. The team fell apart, but they did buy the time, grabbed the one Nexus turret thanks to the efforts of those brave minions. And now the Unicorns are at it again, this time on the bottom side. Still going to be a little bit before those inhibitors respawn.
This is the safer play, at least, for Unicorns. No Baron here you have to worry about. Just go to the bottom lane, wait for the super minions in the other lanes to push in, so Copenhagen Wolves have to go back and defend them at the Nexus.
Wait out the Mega Gnar too. It's just about to run out. There it goes. Super minions pushing. The Wolves are trying to shove back. Liking this kind of fluid 4-1 they're doing here with Vizicsacsi now moving back with the rest of the team. And now moving back into the middle. There's still a pretty big wave built up in the top. They need Soren to go deal with it. But Vizicsacsi is actually pushing all the way in to try and zone him away from these super minions. Dodging out the Noxious Blast, Unlimited Charmed up, Freeze. Eats a Lee Sin Q, Kikis is going in, gets the kick, but not in the right direction. Vizicsacsi now doing a 1v2 step. And he's actually going to make it away as Freeze picks up a kill. Young Buck back to Mega Gnar. Kikis might have to bail out of this one. Here we go. Freeze, can he get the kill? Yes, he can. It's a double. Have the Wolves been able to defend this one so far? The answer is yes. 2-for-1 trade for them, and Soren still on minion cleanup.
So the Unicorns here trying two different tactics. One where they push in the bottom lane and wait again for super minions. Copenhagen Wolves once again found an engage onto them. They tried before with the Baron. Honestly, right now, next time, if they do have the opening where two inhibitors are gone, go back to that Baron. Don't start it. Just wait at the Baron itself. Force the Copenhagen Wolves to go out and sit there and prevent the Baron from being started, or just give it up free to you. Because Young Buck had no teleport, so they could have played around that at the Baron pit itself, but just didn't feel confident enough, so they went for that push in the bottom lane instead. And now inhibitors have respawned. And Airwax staying alive.
Yes, he is. So they've stalled out just a little bit, enough of the time to not fully reset everything, but
I feel like this is every single Copenhagen Wolves game.
yeah, pretty much.
Like, even in Dragons in the
Outlive,
late game,
Outlast.
and just like do everything you can to stay alive.
This one's been a little more action-packed than we've seen, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Unicorns, by virtue of all their games, always make it a little bit interesting as well. So they clear out the vision that was just placed down by the Wolves. They want to try to bait this Baron out, but this time the waves aren't shoving in their favor. They're going to have to clear a few more out before they buy themselves any map pressure.
Yeah, now the Wolves can finally move out of their own base. Don't have to worry about the super minions. So Unicorns here lost the chance to really punish the Wolves. I mean, if you have two inhibitors gone, or down, sorry, and you can't even take any objective from it, then it's not been
they
working
can
out for
maybe
you.
take
Airwax.
Airwax. He's a little bit low in this one, but Unlimited front-lining everything, and the Wolves move into action. Hylissang getting popped down by Freeze with a crit, and they can just keep on moving. Vardog's extremely low in this. Freeze still on the chase. Airwax as well. They're going to make him back away. Vizicsacsi completely ignored in all of that, and the Wolves take themselves one kill and a whole lot of pressure off of the map.
Yeah, and Soren just hit 500 stacks for himself, getting that last power spike from his passive, giving him the extra, I believe it is 20% AP. 25,
30%.
30%,
yeah,
even better. 30% AP for him. You have the death cap already. He's currently sitting on 1,009 AP, and we're only 41 minutes in.
Yep, and here we go. The fight's going to start. Exhaust is down. Charm is on. Power of Evil, though. Freeze! Yeah, we talked about Cassiopeia's AP, but how about Freeze's AD? Kikis now chased out by Young Buck. Tries to get the resonating strike off. Not going to be able to happen. Soren picks him up. Meanwhile, we've got some action going down back at the Copenhagen Wolves base, but they are a little bit more interested in these inhibitors up here. Turrets going down. Inhibitors fired down. Vizicsacsi manages to pick that one, and they trade 1-for-1 in all of that chaos. But the Wolves are still threatening here. Kikis and Power of Evil are down. The number advantage is to the Copenhagen Wolves. Yeah, Hylissang, he's getting chunked pretty low. Another Leona, will it bite the dust? Yes, it will. Freeze with a godlike kill. Vizicsacsi teleporting back. Nexus turrets starting to go down. There is only one remaining. They don't have the waves with them just yet. And the Wolves are going to take a quick breather, but are they going back in for round two?
That minion's coming still. 10 seconds on Power of Evil.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to
That's
Young Buck. Mega Gnar hop away. Yeah, tower's down. Vizicsacsi's melted. Vardox, he can't defend this one. The Copenhagen Wolves have done it again. They outlive, they outlast, and they trample down the Unicorns
They're
of Love.
so happy. Look at them.
Amazing. They have been able to come right on back, and yeah, smiles all around. Well deserved.
That was a very, very hard-fought game by the Copenhagen Wolves. I feel like Unicorns of Love had so many chances to win the game, and they just didn't capitalize on it. And in the very end, the Wolves just get to late game, get the last few team fights, and actually win the game. I mean, when you have two inhibitors down, and you can just bait a Baron, don't start it, just sit there and wait. If they don't want to come and fight you, you take it for free, then you start pushing in the bot lane against Copenhagen Wolves. If they want to try and fight you, you wait for those super minions to do all the work, finish off the Nexus, you don't even have to care about it. And yet though, Wolves stalled it out again and won the game.
Yeah, this time they managed to do it in 42 minutes. So they're improving their time just a little bit. But definitely a much needed win there. You can see, not so happy on the Unicorn side. Kikis, they did make some mistakes there. It seemed that the Unicorns had a better strategy after that last win but they still have trouble with their pause button. It's not always working. That time they could have just pumped the brakes at Baron. Instead they went for it. As you're right, it burned them.
Again, they had so many openings from the 4 kills in the bottom lane, 3 towers in the top lane, and just couldn't use it to close out the game. Didn't play around inhibitors. And the big story here for Copenhagen Wolves really is how Soren and Freeze has become 2 very, very good carries. As long as they get to the late game, they can win the game for Copenhagen Wolves as a team here. And we see them build comps around Freeze and Soren all the time. Comps simply has to just, again, let them scale up, let them do everything. You have everyone else peeling for them. Everyone else is just supporting Freeze and Soren. And it's now actually working for them, at least this week. 2-0 for the Copenhagen Wolves. Freeze, fantastic performance yesterday. Draven today as well. And obviously Soren also looked great yesterday. And Cassiopeia, 9 kills for him.
Yeah.
1,000 AP.
But not only that, you look at the damage dealt too. I mean, Freeze was just... Those axes, you could see how much of a bite they were taking out of everyone's health bars. And this is the problem when the Draven gets ahead. A lot of people forget it because it's so risky. It doesn't get played that much. But Freeze is like, yeah, perfection, I got that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's always been known for his Draven play. Back when I played with Freeze, very first game, he also played Draven, and we like 10-0 some other bottom lane in solo queue. And I was like, okay, this guy's pretty good. Let's play some Draven.
Yeah.
And then they got banned in like every game in the LCS after a week or two. But
well,
hey, it was fun while it lasted. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, too many. Well, Freeze has been definitely the one taking those more interesting picks.
Yeah.
In the bottom lane, he of course picked up a Kalista. He had a very, very good game on that one. And, you know, I think that's kind of the hidden power of this team. The Wolves, they can stall it out. They can get to the later game. They get those stacks up. They have a lot of stacking champions. Maybe Young Bucks should start picking up Nasus. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, they already run this extremely risky comp, though.
That's true. It
They
doesn't always work.
And with all the chances they gave Unicorns to really just run with this game, it's actually amazing how they managed to stall it out and win the game, because it's a problem for the Copenhagen Wolves, but it's also a thing that actually works when the teams don't manage to finish, and that's how to pick up the wins. But
yeah, I think it also speaks to consistency issues on the Unicorns. They kind of were all across the board today. They made some really, really brilliant moves, but they gave up a lot of things unexpectedly. They looked really, really great yesterday, but this time around, we've kind of seen them come back to what we'd seen in week number 2. So definitely a little bit shaky for them. I'd still say that they've shown a lot of potential, a lot of promise, and they picked up wins to accommodate that. But a lot of question marks remaining after this match for them.
Yeah, a lot of our teams here in the ULCS, they have some good moves, but they can't consistently do it throughout an entire game. So there's definitely a lot of things they need to work on in terms of the shot calling and, again, how to use 2 inhibitors being down to win the game.
Yeah, we'll see. There's time to refine it yet. It's only week 3, of course. So now let's head over to the analyst desk where Shocks and Amazing are joined by some of the victorious Copenhagen Wolves to discuss that win.
Thank you very much, Pyrotechnics. I'm here with Young Buck and Freeze, or should I say Draven. Wow, what a game. Congratulations. Just convincing performance by you guys, or you specifically, Freeze. Were you surprised that you got your hands on the Draven? I saw you tweeting about it with Power of Evil, and I thought, no way he's going to get his hands on that.
Well, we're big friends with Power of Evil, and I actually thought that they will ban it because he was a bit like biting me into it that he will ban it, or that I'm one-trick pony Draven. And I expected both Kalista and Draven to be banned, but in the end, Draven was open, so I went for it.
And you guys actually did well in the early game in total. Amazing. You had real praise for how the Copenhagen Wolves handled themselves early.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even though you guys were unable to get a dive top or anything like that, like, you guys seem to be expending so much attention towards the bottom and actually dominating it. That's how I want to put it. Like, you actually force the jungle's attention, like your own jungle's, the enemy jungle's attention. Is that like some kind of new AD carry but same CW old story? Or how would you call it?
I don't know. I'm the new guy.
You can talk about it together.
Well, I think we're really good and always have had playstyles that revolve around mid laners and AD carries. And I would usually play a very supportive tanky role. And it has always fit me, so I don't mind doing it with Freeze as well.
Yeah, and I gotta say, your Gnar ultimates and just the way you played him was really on point today. Also, Soren in that mid lane really stepping up for you guys, and Cassiopeia. It seemed that you kind of got a boost from yesterday, and individually you could all hold your own.
I agree. After yesterday, we felt so good. We won. We won, and the relief we had from the game, it was a long game. It just helped us a lot, and now we came strong, and we were expecting to at least put up a fight, not a victory, but yeah, we won as well. So I'm so happy right now.
We would almost forget that the Unicorns of Love actually had some winning team fights in that one, but there's one replay I particularly want to show you guys and get that up on the screen where you guys absolutely did a fantastic team fight. I don't know who of you guys want to talk through this, maybe Joey or...
How about Freeze? I did
Freeze?
it last time.
All right, let's roll the clip and go for it, guys.
So yeah, there. Oh my. Okay, yeah. So Joey used beautiful ultimate on Ari, forces her to ult her, and I ult her as well. So she's basically out of the fight. Cassio flashes over and kills her. And right now, it's all about the cleanup. They're really nice kick for me, and if we were able to kill the Aurelia fast enough, we would be going ace and Baron. But Hylia and Vitsi did really good job of killing me right there. You can see 4 men grouping around me, trying to save me. In the end, it didn't work out, but Soren stepped up, got a triple kill, and yeah, in the end, Joey as well chased the Hylia, and we went ace.
What a beautiful boomerang.
Yeah, what a beautiful boomerang.
Fantastic boomerang. And amazing, you actually had nothing but praise for Youngbuck in this one.
Yeah, as I said, like, the role that you play in the team, and you basically confirmed it too, is that you have some kind of utility coming in for the mid to late game team fights, and I really have to praise because you understood your role completely in that game. Even though like some engages were a bit wanky, like you did really well. So overall, praise for you. You seem to really step up this time.
Thank you.
Well, I guess a follow-up question is, do you feel that improvement in yourself as well? Because, you know, you're often targeted in the team, and it must just be hard also with the new lineup coming in, or new Freeze coming in, although he did a pretty good job in this one. Do you feel that improvement in yourself?
Yeah, I've had a lot of problems with avoiding ganks. That was shown in the first week where I got targeted a lot, and almost every gank was successful. I worked on it. Yesterday, I still got a successful gank against me, but I think that overall I have really improved on that, so the early games are a lot smoother for the entire team. And I think that I am one of the strongest teleport users right now. I've really trained it a lot with the coach, the analyst, and every time we just went through all the teleports, all the situations, and because of that, I've become really good at it.
And this game, it definitely showed a 2-0 week for the Copenhagen Wolves. Congratulations. Fantastic for you guys. Coming up next is our last match of the day, a top-of-the-table clash between Elements and SK Gaming. According to LOLesports.com, you think Elements is going to take it, but it's sure to be close. Don't touch that browser and see what happens.
The Unicorns versus the Wolves. The crowd is pumped. Airwax in some trouble as well, and Limited also low. Here comes Kikis. He's going to go in for the assassination. Youngbuck kick as he flashes. They are going to land the solar flare on. Here comes Airwax. The whirling death, and Freeze is going to cash in on Kikis. I go. David! Get Draven! He flashed. Yeah, we got him. I got him. I'm coming around. Wolves composition. Vardax isolated. Freeze cashes in again. They've caught Kikis. Can they get the kill? Yes, they can. Go. Finish. The Copenhagen Wolves have done it again. They outlive, they outlast, and they trample down the Unicorns of Love.